REI, interns aren't just helpers, they are the core part of the team.
And here's something fun. If you scroll through REI's Instagram feed, you'll notice that every post has its own personality. That's not by accident, it's because each one was edited by a different intern, each bringing their own style and creativity. That's like a visual diary of the team itself.
So basically, interns write blogs, articles, and they create social media posts to raise people's awareness towards refugees. And of course, it brings more donors to refugee empowerment projects. And I think it's more of a creative job because Jane always encourages us to do it our own way.
Just like how we created this podcast. Like it's me and Pauline's idea, and it was Jane who encouraged us to do so.
And the history of REI interns can be tracked back a long time ago.
The position was initially it wasn't technically intern, but rather volunteer. And Jane actually joined REI in that role of volunteer.
Before REI even had Instagram, interns were doing things like historical records, research on refugees around the world, materials writing, event organizing, and a lot of paperwork.
Right. So social media is just another way, like it's like a new tool for the same mission. And on this special International Friendship Day, we want to give special thanks to our amazing interns who put so much effort and love into the social media posts they make and the articles and blogs they wrote.
So therefore, we invited four former interns, Jamie, Salem, Ethan, and Isabella, to talk about their work experiences and their understanding of being friends with REI.
IRI interns are from all over the world, actually, and they have their own special characters and experiences and their unique insights into refugee issues.
Yes, so Isabella or Izzy just finished her bachelor's degree in the Netherlands and is about to start her master's in Amsterdam to study public policy and government. Ethan is a third-year student at Waseda University and the National University of Singapore. He's studying anthropology, and Salem's family moved from Libya to Japan 3 years ago, and he attended a Japanese university.
Yeah, and he is currently working for a startup gaming company that is in charge of, and he's in charge of the promotion job.
And Jamie is a college student at Temple University studying international affairs.
Wow, Arya really brings people from all over the world together. And I mean that in both literal and figurative meaning. Like, for example, I'm from China, Pauline's from Germany, and there are other interns who came from Singapore, Canada, America, and so on.
Exactly. And when we talked to the four interns, we found that they all had the same reason that brought them to REI, being interested in social justice and in international affairs, and they wanted to have more hands-on experience, to have the deeper insight into refugees' issues.
And now we'll let them speak for themselves. Listen closely. These are their voices, full of passion, curiosity, and the commitment that they bring to REI. How did you first hear about REI Japan?
Actually, so this has to do with last year when I first came to Japan and I was trying to find some NGOs to work with, and I just typed in refugee NGO Tokyo and REI popped up.
Actually, I first heard about REI through um, Temple University's Career Development Office. Um, I had to do an internship for my degree, and uh, I set up a meeting with them, and they recommended REI because I was interested in uh, social justice and community-based approach. And then once I did some research into REI, the mission really resonated with me, especially the mission focused on like long-term and community-led empowerment rather than like a top-down aid. So I applied and I'm did my internship and
I mean, for my degree, we had the option of doing an internship, which I was really interested about because my degree was very like theoretical and didn't there wasn't as much kind of a practical side to it. So I thought that an internship would be really interesting to kind of delve more into the working side of NGOs and, that field that I'm interested in.
How would you personally define friendship?
For me, friendship is, people who you can trust and depend upon, and, someone who is reliable and there for you, no matter what. And I think for me, friendship has been so important in different stages of my lives and different stages of my lives, different stages of my life. And, meeting new people and kind of also learning so much from people as well. I feel like definitely who I am now, it sounds very cliche, but has been shaped by all the people I've met in different stages of my life.
Yes.
And I think that's so important to me, just what I gain from being around new people and being around also people that I've known my whole life, and how you can trust someone in that way.
I think that's a good question because I feel like depending on the different languages, there you have like really varying kind of nuanced definitions of friendship. Whereas I think in some contexts you can call practically anybody you've met a friend. Um, but in other instances, like a friend is someone that has like a deeper understanding of you and your past experiences. Um, right. So I mean, personally, for me, I would say I kind of use both meanings interchangeably. For me, it's I'm more inclined with the latter definition. Like a friend is someone who's had shared experiences with you, or who understands and your past experiences and vice versa.
On a personal sense,
Yeah.
a friend to me is someone who I can trust with a lot of personal information. Okay. So if it's someone that basically, for example, I can trust with something related to work or something related to my family or something related to myself, or someone that I can be, I guess, like I don't have to restrain myself to be next to him, I can be my actual self. That I consider that person to be a friend.
What does being friends with an organization like REI mean to you?
The friendship, yeah, it's really about supporting each other, um, showing up for each other, listening to each other's dreams, and really like growing together, if that makes sense, and realizing that we all have a place in this work, and and we need to show up with humility, and that's how that like this friendship can continue to work between myself and REI and future friends.
I love the fact that with REI being, a smaller organization, I do feel like it's more personal in the sense of you do get to know everyone a bit better, because I've had friends who've interned at, bigger organizations, and they've said that maybe you don't really get to know everyone that well, or it feels a bit, they just kind of focus on their own work and don't really interact with other people that much. But what I really liked at REI is, how you really get to know everyone very well. And for example, in the mornings, having like the kind of rundown of what you've been up to at the moment and giving a little update, and just the social element of being on the shared meeting table in the office. I really liked that. And I really liked how, yeah, that did feel a lot more social, and also with different events, kind of getting to know each other better that way. And yeah, I just think being in a smaller organization does feel so much more, yeah, personal and friendly in a lot of ways, which I really appreciated a lot, especially being in a new country. I feel it's nice to be somewhere where you feel that you feel really comfortable.
What has been the most fascinating part of working with REI?
I think, well, off the top of my head, it's because my like my interest in anthropology, I've read some things on refugee studies, on the realities that refugees deal with. Even though anthropology makes an attempt to, represent the lived experiences, the real lived experiences of people on the ground. But still, I got all of those experiences from books, from written texts and with academic discussions. But working at REI, I get to kind of like be even a step closer to those experiences that I saw in the books, and also being exposed to new experiences that I haven't got around reading elsewhere. So it's kind of like a first-hand primary exposure, I would say, which was really fascinating because kind of seeing what you read in real life and how it um, comes into fruition in terms of humanitarian support and empowerment, you know.
The most fascinating part um, is like seeing how, in a sense, small scale support, such as REI, rather than like a big NGO, small scale support, when it's done right, can have a massive ripple effect. And my biggest takeaway was really like this meaningful change comes from listening first, like understanding what people actually need and not just assuming what they need and telling them what they need, if that makes sense.
What motivates you to stay in touch with REI even after your internship?
Even after your internship ended.
Um, Jane and Yasko are really nice.
Right.
And they've always been kind whenever I reach out, and they've always reached out themselves. So, it's almost like I feel obliged that I have to keep in touch with them. It's not, and it's something I actually want to do. Like from time to time, I was just check, is everything okay? Do you need help with anything? Um, and yeah, I just love. I really like Aria. It has a special place in my heart, and I always want to keep in touch with them and see what they're up to.
Yeah. Well, after my internship was over,
Mm,
I didn't feel like REI was just a one-off internship and that uh, once I finished, it was, my relationship with REI was done. So after my internship, I stayed in contact and I expressed interest in the field visit, and I was fortunate enough to go with REI to the Thai Myanmar border. And this field visit was incredibly eye-opening. I had the chance to meet like the local partners and the community members, um, who are, they are the ones who are really in charge and um, the ones who are running the projects, who are refugees themselves. But this really, for me, grounded everything that I had worked on in my internship, and it really, you know, put into perspective the change or the support, the the amount of how should I say this? Really like the how impactful REI was to these local communities. And during that trip, I was able to make some close friends. We still keep in touch and share updates with each other. And um, we still talk about the field visit and we support each other personally and professionally too. So that's another really important and enriching part of that field visit. After, even after my internship, like I really wanted to keep supporting REI because I truly believe in what they do. And I've built some really good and real bonds with the people who uh, are part of REI, both on staff, interns, and also our community members, like who are donors or help us and volunteer with events. And it's really rare, in my opinion, to find an organization that is so rooted in trust and mutual respect for each other.
Have you ever participated in any REI events? If so, which ones? And do you have any ideas or suggestions for further events?
Well, that's a big question. I've been to the F1 race night. I've been to the wine bluff. I've been to the Hands to Hill. Um, it might have been something else that I've been to. I can't remember at the moment. But right, I've got this couple of events that I've been to. Suggestions. Well, I can't really think of anything constructive. I mean, there whatever I can think of, it's I don't suppose there's much to be to there's much that we can do about it. So let's leave it at that. I think with the current approach, it's effective. And we get our message across, and we get donations. Which is what matters. I suppose, I guess like one of the events that I can more vividly recall is the Wine Bluff, because the atmosphere, the ambience that night was very good. Like I suppose like everybody was having a blast, and the event went smoothly. We got a lot of donations. So like it was to me that felt and seemed like a successful event. And it left a deep impression on myself even. So I suppose the Wine Bluff is quite interesting. So yeah, basically, you know what I mean, you have three panelists, and the people are divided into teams, and it's like a casual, harmless competition. You're presented with different kinds of wines, and you give it a taste, and then you hear from the three panelists who offer their analysis on where the wine is from, and how does it taste like, and you can decide as a team which panelist was correct. And the winner gets a prize. The winning team gets a prize, of course. So it was a lot of fun, and at the same aspect was pretty well and seamlessly into the event.
Great.
So I've only participated in the galas. So REI hosts one gala per year, right?
Yeah.
Usually in March.
Mhm.
And I've participated in one when I was an intern,
Mhm.
and I participated in the one the following year as a volunteer.
Mhm.
So my main job in both events was to manage the donor table, right? So
Yeah.
the event is organized to different tables. There's auction stuff, there's raffles, and there's the donor table. And the main job of the donor table is to try to get people to sign up to a donor club
Mhm.
and just learn more about REI. So that was my main thing, just stand there at that table. Mariko-san was with me as well. And just speak to guests and try to tell them all about REI and try to get them to sign.
Mhm.
Did you ask about the most impressive thing, or no, never mind.
Yeah, the most
Yeah,
impressive
so
moment.
the most impressive thing, like moment, I guess in general, is I didn't expect how many people were going to be there in both times.
Mhm.
And the venue was also really, really nice. REI has been doing it for a very long time, and everything in both events went really smoothly, which I was very happy to see. But yeah, there were a lot of people from very different backgrounds, and I've had many, many interesting conversations with people who attended both events that I've been to.
Mhm.
And yeah, the most impressive part, I guess, that was left an impression on me. Like we have this segment where there are drummers for the taiko drums, and Jane uses it to sort of tell people to, hey, now it's time to sort of line up at the tables, or now we're gonna do the speech, and they're really, really loud. Okay,
Mhm. Okay.
like when they start beating them, they actually feel it in your chest.
Mm.
Like I don't know if you're gonna attend the gala or not, but if you are, like that's something that you have to be there for. It's great.
Mm.
But if there's one thing I'd like to change, then there are like suggestions, right? I'm only gonna speak about what I've done, which is the donor club table, and it goes back to the point where people are just there to have fun,
Yeah.
a good amount of them. So not many of them are interested in what the donor table is. You try to speak to them, and they're like, "Yeah, that's champagne over there. I'm gonna go get that,"
Mhm.
or like it's very hard to grab people's attention.
Yeah.
So for next year, what I'm thinking maybe is we either just not have a donor table and just leave it more of a information, like learn more about REI, or just integrate it into some sort of presentation. So we have a lot of presentations in the event, like people talk for about 2 hours. So we could just integrate a 10-minute segment where Yasko or an intern even, honestly, can just go on stage and give a short explanation of what REI does for anyone who's new there that doesn't know, and talk a little bit about the donor club, maybe, right? Because the table itself doesn't get much attention, and even the people we speak to about it, a small percentage of them are actually interested. As how to get more donors, I think there's something they did last year. I don't have the metrics on it, but I think that's probably the better approach, is that instead of putting it at the table, they put QR codes all over place for people to sort of scan and join. And whenever they finish the segment or a speech or something like that, the announcer would remind them to, hey, please join the donor club, scan the QR code, right? I don't know if that worked or not, but that to me seems like a much more easier way to get people into it.
So, in my opinion, I think that in Japan, the society is really built on trust. It's a trust-based society. And so the Japanese people are more inclined, from my experience, to support an NGO who is more on a global scale, or who has been around for a lot longer and already has kind of an overwhelming community support support system established. So these organizations or NGOs who you probably see on the street or see on social media around the world, those are the ones I think that Japanese people are more inclined to support. Whereas in, like, for example, REI is a very small, comparatively, it's a small organization. So I think, and especially with refugees, I think the perception in Japan is it's a little bit hard to share this perspective, like from REI, that because in the direct translation in Japanese, it means like a troubled person, the kanji, and so it's been a I wasn't prepared for this question, but it's been really a bit of a good challenge to try and change that narrative that that kanji shouldn't mean troubled person, but someone is displaced and rather who's like unable to go home or back to their community right away. Because it doesn't mean that they're a bad person. Like, there's so many external factors that can affect a refugee, and that doesn't inherently make this person a bad person, as the kanji may lead people to believe.
If you had to summarize your understanding of friendship in the context of REI in one sentence, what would you say?
So, this is not the answer. This is a detour, okay? The main message of REI is that it's sort of that people don't need help, right? People just need to be uplifted in a way, and then they can do the rest themselves, right? They're very capable. So we have this understanding that if you're friends with someone, you have to help them all the time. But sometimes all they need is just like a little push and a little direction, and then they'll do it themselves, right? So I guess the main meaning of friendship in REI is that friendship is a guiding hand, I guess.
A guided
Because
hand.
a guiding hand. Because that's all it really needs to be. That's all you need to do. Like all the people that at the projects, they're doing a perfectly amazing job on their own. All they just needed was some resources and the ability to set all these things up, but they're doing everything on their own, right? And it's not just them, it's everyone in the world, it's every refugee. They have the capacity to do these things. They just need the resources and someone to point them in the right direction, and that's it, right?
Well, I don't know if I can simplify it down into one sentence, but so as we mentioned just now, I suppose the philosophy of REI's approach to empowerment is intricately bound with the idea of friendship. I think. Yeah, in terms of the work that the REI that REI does, we're not giving a handout. We're not picking less fortunate refugees. We're not picking them up, but instead we're working with them, supporting them as equals, as friends, as partners. So on the ground, in that sense, that's where the friendship idea comes in. And also, I think in the office, it doesn't really feel like your conventional office work. It's everything is pretty light and breezy, but we still get the work done, and we're still quite efficient and effective. Yeah, but yet the atmosphere is quite, I would say, lively and chill.
But I can say friendship in REI, friendship with REI means standing with, not for, but standing with communities and staying connected with others through trust, respect, and a shared purpose.
I would say for me, friendship at REI was a friendship where you could learn a lot from each other and gain new insights. And I think also just a source of friendliness when you're in a new place. It was just nice that moving to the other side of the world and being in a completely new place and having somewhere where people are so welcoming and friendly. I think that was really special. But yeah, just meeting new people and gaining new insights of, how they came to be at REI and kind of their different perspectives on things. I think that was really interesting. So yeah.
And is there any call to action or message you would like to share with the audience?
For me, I think it's so important right now to get involved in, how can I say this? If there's something you're passionate about, to see how you can get involved in the best way. I feel like quite often we can feel quite helpless with what's going on politically, and it can feel like we, can't really do much, or that it's hard for our voices to be heard. But I think if there is something you're passionate about, to even if it's small, just to kind of see in what ways you can show up and show your support. And I think that's just so important. And even something little can go a long way.
Well, I mean, to put it simply, I guess check it out, and you might. It's very interesting. If you will, to, apply for an internship, and it's a lot of fun, and as well, you get to learn a lot of things while doing stuff at the same time. So, I would recommend it, and I do so as well.
Read more, watch more, whatever your preferred medium is, but being educated and on top of things is the best way to help. I know I just said no help, but you know what I mean. It's the best way to participate with these kinds of things. If you don't know the issue, then you can't engage with it. Again, I already thought I knew a little bit about refugee issues before I joined, but then I joined, and the course of those 3 months, there are so many things I wasn't aware of, right? That I learned, and then that made me much more capable of knowing how to support and what to support.
Yep.
So if you're curious about these things, try to learn about them as much as you can, and that's gonna be your main indicator of how to effectively actually change something. Yeah.
And you would recommend the internship to the audience as well if they want to help or volunteer. It's an option to do an internship, right? So
Yeah. I'd recommend volunteering for events, yeah, and I'd recommend the internship. However, there's a very specific skill set that's, that REI sort of favors, because currently most of the promotion work is on social media. So if you're good at video editing, if you're good at social media, like management, um, and graphic design, right? Then amazing, you're gonna fit right in and you're gonna make a lot of change. If your subset of skills is a different thing, then I'd recommend volunteering for something. So I don't know if you're a good website designer, contact Jane. We're always redesigning the website, I think. If um, you're really good at talking to people, you can come to some of the events to talk and try to sort of be a volunteer at them and then get people to like donate and learn more about the organization, right?
Mhm.
But for me personally, the internship was great because first of all, again, it was my first ever quote unquote professional work experience. So there's a lot of things I learned from it. And in terms of work, like I learned video editing on the spot pretty much. I I I tried to learn it a few times before, but the work I did for IA really helped me with it. And same thing for social media, like uh, how to make reports for analytics and all that kind of stuff. These are skills that I developed with REI. So if this is your interest, then I recommend the internship 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool. So you can really.
I have two things. Like first, I would like to say, like, if you care about making a change that lasts, start by listening. One of my favorite um, sayings, I guess, is seek first to understand. So start by listening and support organizations like REI that do exactly that, but also specifically support refugee-led organizations and amplify the stories of these people, and stay involved because a long-term change is going to start with a long-term relationship. And it's not going to be something that happens overnight, but if you continually help support the REI or any other refugee-led organization, you will be able to make a change.
Each story reminds us that REI isn't just an organization, it's a community, a place where people found. Each story reminds us that REI isn't just an organization, it's a community, a place where people from all over the world come together, share ideas, and make real difference in the lives of refugees.
Yeah, even though they knew refugees in very different ways, they all have something in common, which is that they all heartfully love this community and genuinely want to support the refugee population. And I feel that they perceive the friendship with Arya in the same way, which they all feel like it's like a mutual friendship. And it's like they provide their knowledge and skills to run REI, and at the same time, they learn so many things from REI and the refugee population. And also, I feel like their answers really resonate with my feeling toward REI because today, August 19th, is my last day as an intern in REI, even though I'm still gonna be school ambassador of REI, but like it's my last day at the office. And I feel like even though like if people ask me 1 year later how I feel about this place, I would be like, oh, I wish I could come back and work for it again, like come to the office every day. I mean, yeah. And I just love how supportive the community is.
That's so nice. And hearing all the stories really makes me realize how special REI is. It's not just the work we do, but the bonds we form, the friendships we build, and the support we give each other every single day. That's what makes this place feel like a second home.
And with this episode, our special Friendship Day edition is over. And it is more than just a podcast, and we truly, truly appreciate everyone who helped REI.
To us, REI is not just an NGO, it's an idea that says that we are always here to support each other. At REI, we are always excited to welcome new interns who share their own passion for making a difference. So if you care about refugee issues, or you're curious about global challenges, or you enjoy using your skills in areas like social media or in in communication. We'd love to hear from you, and everyone is welcome. So, whether you're looking to learn or contribute or grow alongside a supportive team, please reach out.
Anyways, we wish you a fabulous International Friendship Day with your friends, and don't forget to make the world a better place.